All right, guys, here we have a 2014 EZGO Express S4. This one here is this is a simple one. We're going to be doing new tires on this one and a full service. You can see the tires are a bit thin. The front ones really aren't too bad. They're actually still pretty meaty, so you know, these ones will go back to the customer. This one here looks just as good, but the both back tires are a bit gnarly. This one here is flat, as you can see. Well, it's only flat on one side. Well, then again, this is actually flat on a whole bunch of sides because of the way it was parked for the winter time. But nonetheless, we're going to change all four tires out. The customer had supplied all four tires for me to put on. I typically don't install customer supplied anything. And the reason for that is because I've had people give me parts to install on their cart, and then I've had a couple of them come back and say, they're not the right parts I gave you, you put something else on and kept my parts and sold them and put junk parts on. And I've had other situations where people would bring me parts to install in their cart, and the part that they're supplying doesn't fit because it's not for that cart or it's for a different generation. But that's the reason why. I know what to get. I know where to get it from. My supplier has a really good warranty process, so I buy the parts and install them. Otherwise, I'm not going to install them on your cart. Simple as that. That's better. So yeah, that's the story with this one. We are going to do a full service, oil change, check the charging system, check the lights, filters, change out tires, and all that fun jazz. So let's get started. So I got these EZGO Pro, N-E-I-K-O Pro. These are basically slim impact sockets, and we're going to try them on these wheels here to see how they work. A lot of these larger wheels have a very thin gap between the lug nut. Doesn't really look like I need them, but we're going to try them out anyway. But typically if they're an inset lug, they're going to have a very small gap between the wheel itself and the lug nut. I've used these gloves in other videos. I don't like them. They're hard to get on. So, not crazy about them. All right, so it looks like we have some 17 millimeter. And they're double-ended sockets, so you get like 17 and 19 on one. And then you can use this extension. You plug it in to the inside, and that's how you switch it around. So you have to have this little tiny extension that it comes with, so it'll fit on the end of your tool that you're going to use to remove the wheels. Well, we're just going to basically try these out. We're going to try them out on some wheels that have that inset lug nut too, to make sure that they actually work well. They weren't expensive. I think they were like 20, 30 bucks or something. About $30 for that kit. People in their crazy valve stem things. All right, here's one. I'll go get the other side off, and then we'll go over to the tire machine. Don't mind the mess in the background. Everything's kind of a bit all over the place right at the moment while we're in the process of sorting and moving and all that fun crap. I also have these air fittings linked down below. Don't buy these air fittings. These things suck. I'm already changing these out. I can't tell you how many times. After a while, when you release whatever air tool you have plugged into it, they stop holding back the air pressure and just blow off like it just did. Royal pain in the ass. I think these are like Milton or something. So I can't come over here and plug in the tire machine without letting the air out of the hose first. All right. All right, so we're going to charge up the tire machine. All right, so I got to put my wheel adapters on. These wheel adapters that came with this thing, they were much taller I had to cut half of them off because it would roll over and bend and twist on me. This is an inexpensive tire machine. I'm trying to think of where I got it from. National Tool, I believe. All right, so here's the first tire. Before we can unmount or dismount the tire from the wheel, take the valve core out. Put it in. These are factory EZGO tires and wheels, it looks like, because they're EZGO. Well, at least the center caps are EZGO. Then we're going to break the bead. Air compressor may kick on. I don't know if you guys will hear it because the mic's on my chest. Okay, our bead is broke. The tire is really soft, so it should come off fairly easily. Okay. Open that up. Got to make sure the clamps bite down in the right spot. Okay. This thing saves a lot of aggravation. You always want to make sure that the bead is clean. And we have these GBC tires. They don't look to be directional. All right, so basically my spray bottle that I use for applying soap, which is basically just a lubricant to get the bead to slide over the rim easier. Now, this one apparently does not want to slide over easier. So what I'll do is this on top of there, rotate. And what the soap does, it just helps. It helps the tire to rotate smoothly, and it doesn't let the rubber get kind of stuck to anything. I usually just use like a really thin Dawn and water solution. It seems to work pretty good. And then what I'll do is I'll wait until I get the valve stem all the way around. And sometimes the tire machine just does not want to grab very good. Wow. See what happens when we try to seat this tire. All right, guys, I stopped recording because this tire was giving me a fight. And instead of letting you guys hear me swearing at this tire, trying to get it to seat on the rim, or the wheel rather, get the bead to seat in the rim. This part is the rim. The whole assembly is the wheel. So in case you ever wonder the terminology that you use, if you say I need to get a new set of rims, well, you're going to get a new set of rims with wheels. Anyway, so yeah, we got this one installed now. Everything seemed to went pretty good. Once the bead on this side was starting to catch, The key is lots and lots of lubrication. This side was pretty straightforward. It's seated pretty good. It's even all the way around. It looks good. I checked it for leaks. That's why it's all wet. There are no leaks. It's holding pressure. It is set to 20 psi. This tire here, for some reason, doesn't have any recommended running. It just says don't inflate beyond 36 psi when seating bead. I was able to seat the bead at about 30 psi all the way around. It sat perfectly, so no issues there. No leaks, everything looks good. But there's no running pressure on these tires, so I'm going to just go to 20. And they're non-directional either, which is nice. So, okay, only 3 more to go. As you can hear, air compressors running. All right. And then what I usually do with getting the tire to, or the rim, or the wheel rather, to sit on my tire machine is I close it slowly and I try to watch. Ow. Get that one. There we go. I just try to look to make sure that it actually is grabbing the outer edge of the rim here. Now, the old tires always seem to come off a lot easier than the new tires go on. We have a thunderstorm coming, and it hasn't been severe warned yet, but it is severe watched. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for that too, because I'll take them down to my tire guy, or my tire disposal place, recycling center, where they chop them up and turn them into basically like playground equipment. Or the bedding that they use in like the playgrounds. Pretty neat. And the reason why these tires are so hard to mount is because the way they're stored wherever you buy them from. And this solution that I use, it's just a diluted mixture of Dawn and water. That's what I've found to work the best. Sometimes that works. Didn't want to work this time, so we'll have to just deal with it, I guess. I'm waiting for the valve stem to come around. Let's see, I'm soaking this towel. I have a spray bottle. Well, I had a spray bottle. Something happened to this thing and it broke, so now I gotta wipe this on the tire. Because I normally would just soak it with this sprayer. Come on, get on there. I'm going. See how nice and smooth that went on compared to the other one? So theoretically, this should seat. Look at that. See how it's taking the air and it's inflating? That's how that's supposed to work. There goes the bead. I like to go slow. Stand back. Okay, there's that one. that one. Okay, so now the valve core is not installed. So I'll just pick it up here. It's not raining yet, but I could hear a little bit of thunder even through my earplugs. Boy, I hope you guys can hear me okay, because okay, so now I'm gonna deflate it down to 20 psi. That's how this is supposed to go. And that's why you need to use a lot of lubrication. Okay. All right, so I have 2 more to go. As you can see, that's mounted. Oh, that's better. Let's take the earplugs out. So as you can see, that's mounted. I have 2 more tires to go. That one went fairly smooth. It actually went exactly how it's supposed to go. But we all know things don't always go like they're supposed to. And they give you a fight. So this one went smoothly, so now I'll get the other 2 off the front. We'll get this one, the back done, and we can service this golf cart. Pretty good. Just that one tire gave me a fit. For some reason, it just did not want to go on. It fought me the entire way. But outside of that, I mean, these tires here, they went on pretty good. Now that the tires are done, that was the hardest part, and I wanted to get that over with. Now we can get underneath the seat here and get it serviced. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to pull, like, spark plug air filter, spark plug fuel filter and oil filter are always changed regardless. Air filter, if it's clean, we're not going to change it. It's just silly to waste money on something that doesn't need. But we'll see in a short minute here what this looks like. Yeah, we'll change it. I know some of you are going to ask, why not just blow it out and reuse it? You can do that. You just have to be careful though with these cheap made in China filters, or any filter really, is if you're going to blow it out, you have to be able to do it without ruining it, because a lot of times I've seen people where they blow these filters out and they end up ruining the filter and blowing a hole through it. So effectively you're just eliminating the filter from being a filter. Because once you damage the filter, it no longer can do its job. This looks like this might be one of my filters. Because, I say that because it's a smooth shank one. I know one of my videos, my microphone transmitter died. I ended up having no audio. I don't see any water in there, so that's good. I drove this cart in here, so there's no repairs needed. It just needs a service. Mostly everything worked on these days you need a special tool for. You can't just get in there and use standard garage tools. You have to use special wrenches to take oil filters off. Belt's nice and tight. This cart is practically brand new. The belts are good, clutches look good. The brakes are spot on. Spark plug doesn't look terrible. A little carboned up, a little black, but nothing abnormal. I've been asked about gapping the spark plugs. Rarely do I have to. I mean, generally, the spark is going to jump the gap, more or less. I mean, the spark will jump a pretty big gap, believe it or not, considering it's like 10 to 15,000 volts. Okay, so we're not going to start this engine. We are going to check the oil first. I have not run this engine. It's a little dirty. It's a little low. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. Hopefully I won't get in the way. This one, there we go. It's weird, this drain plug just didn't seem to want to come out very easily. I know my arm's in the way. Oh, there goes the light. I use one of my 4-foot shop lights for a drop light because it's very, very bright and it just makes it that much easier to see. One thing I have to say that I do like about these factory lifted carts is I do have a lot of room to work without needing to put the cart on a jack, so it is definitely much safer than working on one that doesn't have a lift kit. Okay. It doesn't take much to tighten these up. Just remember, don't over tighten them because you will strip them. They are a 3/4 or 19 millimeter. Let me see if I can turn it by hand. No, I know it won't be able to be turned by hand because I think I'm the last one to do an oil change on this thing. Yep, it's one of my filters. Fucking EZGO. I don't know who's to blame on this one, EZGO or Kawasaki. You cannot change the oil on an RXV, or let me rephrase that. You cannot change the oil on an EZGO that has a Kawasaki engine without making a mess. There's just no way to do it. You got to have multiple oil pans. Because if you don't, you're going to have a mess. Oil's going to drip everywhere. It drips out of every friggin' hole and slot on this engine housing here. Okay. Always check. Make sure the O-ring, the old filter O-ring came off. Do my best to wipe up the oil that's all over everything. Okay. That's good. It's hard to gauge how much is actually flowing. This jug is capable of pouring oil out too quickly. Alright, that's what we're going to live with right there. That's where we're going to stop. Yeah, I know, this oil container is way too large for this. It's a 5-quart container. I don't understand myself why I bought such a large oil container. I really don't understand why I did that. So don't ask, because I don't have an answer for you. It should be right on the money once I put the dipstick back in. More or less to run it like that is just to get the oil filter primed and filled up and everything like that. So, yep, we are spot on. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Right on the money. Lights all work. Like I said, it just walked around the cart again. Check our battery. We're at about 12.5 volts. Loaded up, we're down to over 10.5. Let go. Just under 12. Okay, and charged all the way up to 14.5, almost 15 volts. So we know That charging system is working. I did not install this battery. This is what was already in here when I got the cart at the shop. Yep. Oh my God, it's not even tight. Oh, that's right. You know what I forgot to mention, when I picked the cart up, the battery was disconnected. Take those terminals off of there. If they put the right battery in here, they wouldn't have needed to buy adapters. We just have to clean the mating surface here real quick. There's no corrosion on it or anything. It's nice and... These are actually spotless. They also have to be tightened enough without exceeding, without going too tight or too loose. There is a fine line. You gotta find it. Because if you don't tighten them up enough, oh, battery's not tight inside the bay here. You don't tighten them up enough. See, this battery's too big. Just keep buying those wrong parts, guys, and keep inviting problems. Okay. Positive. Positive for the cart, positive for the light kit. There's negative for the cart. Hey, no corrosion, that's good. And then negative for the light kit. Nice and tight. There's some battery terminal protectant. This stuff doesn't smell very good, so try not to breathe it if you can all help it. That's pretty much it, guys. This cart is done. I have a whole slew of them out in the front of the shop waiting to come in here, but I'm waiting on FedEx again, so all right, guys, that's it for this one. It's done, ready to go, and out of here it goes. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below if you have any questions. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload a new video to the channel. Check the video's description to links to products I use every single day to run my business and bring you these videos. Check out my webpage, social media pages, and all that fun stuff. And as always, I will see you in the next video.